Trojan family, Trojan gang. Fight on forever's in a building. And then today, I'm about to talk about Josiah Sharma transferring from Oregon. Right? Now, Josiah Sharma is a California kid, Northern California, Folsom. Right? So when he not transferring, my bad, decommitting. Now this kid decommitting from Oregon, the first thing I thought was, would the check bounce? Will Oregon check bounce? The check didn't clear because this kid was committed. You rarely see people decommit or transfer out of Oregon, right? They got a bag there, right? So I'm like, did the check bounce for this kid? Was other kids threatening to leave? The roster getting too thick? They didn't give this kid his money, but then I thought, nah, no way. Uncle Phil checkbook, he just said it's unlimited. So there's no way the check could have bounced, right? He might have looked at the depth chart and seen they got 20 defensive linemen and said, well, I don't want to know, like, I ain't scared of competition, but damn, like, that many defensive linemen, I may need to look somewhere else, right? Then you go to Texas. Then it had me thinking, wait, hold up. This kid was at Oregon, a West Coast kid, not Southern but Northern, still West Coast, still California. Still the West Coast, still close to family, right? Went to Oregon, seemed like he wanted to stay on the West Coast, right? This kid leave Oregon and transfer to Texas, go play for Sark. And it had me thinking, where was USC at, right? Where was the Trojans? This kid is a monster defensive lineman. I think he's like the number 7th rated defensive lineman in the country, right? In California, now we know that California don't grow them on trees like that, the defensive linemen. They develop later. You got to be able to spot the diamond in the rough. Most California defensive linemen don't get into their grown man body until like 2019, right? So when you got a West Coast defensive lineman that's already college ready as far as size wise to play the position, he already the size and weight he need to play the position. When you got a kid like this in California, USC supposed to be all over him. He supposed to not be able to sleep. He either supposed to be saying he love USC or he hate USC because they call him too much, right? Right? He either should love USC or hate USC because they own him so much, right? So when he transferred or decommitted out of Oregon and went to Texas and didn't even give USC no look, I feel like that's a problem. Because the kid, if you check the kid Twitter, the kid visited Texas on June 10th, right? Had a wonderful time in Austin, Texas. Hook 'em, right? He visited Texas June 10th. Now, this is the time when USC had them big bashes. They had that big June 7th bash. They had some kids on the 14th. They had a kid on the 17th. They had a big bash June 21st. They brought like 30 kids on campus, but didn't bring one of the top defensive linemen in the state to none of them visits. Not the June visit, none of the 3 June visits. Right? None this summer. They ain't got this kid on campus none this summer at all. Right? And he good enough to get offers from Texas. Who else he got offers from? Let's see. UCLA, Oregon, Washington, right? Arizona, BYU, Stanford, Cal, right? He good enough for these schools, right? And these are just rising. Excuse me, this ain't even his offers. These the people that was at the Rising Stars of camp that he attended June 12th. But if you go to this kid offer list, he got offers from all the major schools, right? All the Power 5 schools, and he ain't good enough for an official visit. What's wrong? It's one thing to lose out on a recruit, right? It's one thing to lose out on Justice Terry, an out-of-state kid from Georgia, right? It's one thing to lose out on Isaiah Gibson and these kids from out of state, right? Because at least we was in it, and at least we tried. But it's another thing, right? It's another thing. It's another thing to not even be in the conversation, not even put your name in the hat. What USC need most? Defensive linemen. Where USC located at? California. Why not all of the top defensive linemen in California didn't get an official visit to USC? Only defensive lineman I can think of off the top of my head to get visit to USC was the modern day kid last year, but this year I only seen Hayden Lowe. Now I had to go back and double check, but from my knowledge, the only top defensive lineman in California that was on campus this summer was Hayden Lowe, right? So how, when you got the number 7 defensive lineman in the country, in your state, in your backyard, in your footprint, and he don't even get a no official visit? I'm pretty sure he would have went. You could say they could have offered, but he didn't go. Come on now. Who's gonna turn down the free trip to LA? Especially when you just right there in Sacramento, right? Ain't no high school kid is turning down a free trip to LA. So I'm pretty sure if he got offered, he would have made time for one of them trips. He went to Austin, Texas, right? And even how bad USC been down, it's still a California school. So most of these kids still at least start off with USC in they top 5. They top 10 at least, right? And now these kids, they could go on unlimited official visits, and they got a maximum of 5. Now these kids could go on unlimited official visits, right? So how in the world would this kid not take an official visit to USC? I don't think USC offered him. USC should have been breathing down his neck. There's no way that we shouldn't be in the top 2 or 3 for the top defensive linemen in the country. And this kid, we didn't give a good enough effort. He's a 4-star. He's one of the top players in the country. And he went to Oregon. Okay, we lost out to Oregon. They throw big bags, but they lost him. But he went to Texas. So we're like, where are we at on these ranking lists with these West Coast kids? Is Oregon? Then is it any other SEC school with a bag? Is it any other school besides USC? I mean, what's going on? Is USC even looking at Tyler Parker, right? Out of Santa Margarita. Like, why do we focus so much on out of state when them the long shots? You know what I'm saying? Them is the kids that more likely to choose another school. We got to recruit kids where we got a certain advantage, right? Well, when we never got home field advantage, we always battling that. It's easy for a player to say, you know what? I like USC a lot, but it's just too far. Or I like USC a lot, but you know what? I just want to represent where I'm from, right? So some battles we got to put ourselves in when we got the home field advantage. There's no way Texas should be able to grab our top defensive lineman, right? Texas, the state of Texas is grabbing all our defensive players. And we get some of their offensive players like running backs, receivers. We got Gorge Cordova, right? But the Texas colleges is getting them beef eaters, them players that we really need. The players we get from Texas, we don't necessarily really need. They be like skill position players. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we ain't just fighting Oregon. It's like USC ain't even top 3 with California recruits outside of Oregon. Because I would think Josiah Sharma went to Oregon over USC, right? California kid, defensive lineman. You know, we got Coach Henney, the best defensive line coach in the world. You know what I'm saying? LA. Still in California, right? If we ain't number one, we should at least be number two. How we fumbling back to the point we ain't even number two? We ain't even number two. And I can see losing out on certain kids, especially the out-of-state kids, right? But to not even be in the mix with something where we're desperate for, USC should be willing to give a defensive lineman $2 or $3 million right now. Right? Because that's what we need for now in the future. Check it. If USC defense don't perform well this year, it's because the defensive line. I promise you. If the USC defense sucked this year again, it ain't going to be because of Deanton Lynn. It's going to be because the defensive line just wasn't good enough. Like, we thin, right? We got Bear Alexander, baller. Gavin Meyer, he good. He a baller, right? Everybody else is just potential. Kobe Pepe, potential. Carlin Jones, freshman, can't depend on him, potential. Jide Abasari, freshman, potential, can't depend on him, right? Who else we got? Nate Clifton, solid veteran, decent player. Everybody else is even the ones I'm high on and I think gonna be great, like Braylon Shelby, potential, right? Anthony Lucas, potential. Devon Tompkins, potential, right? Who in the inside that's beef eater besides Bear, Gavin, and Kobe Pepe, right? Kobe Pepe is unproven. We hoping that somehow Coach Henny unlock Kobe Pepe, unlock Anthony Lucas, unlock Bear even more, unlock Gavin. Like, we need all the players that we expect to be good. Bear and Gavin is the only one who I think we can for sure expect a certain level of play, right? Well, let's keep it honest. We won't be surprised if Kobe Pepe came out and was trash. We wouldn't be surprised if Nate Clifton came out and was just average. Like, we wouldn't be surprised if nobody on that line was average, because we ain't seen it yet. We ain't seen Anthony Lucas dominate. We ain't seen Sam Green dominate. We ain't seen Kobe Pepe dominate, right? We ain't seen that. And we short on numbers. Because after I get past that, Devon Tompkins, after I get past that is freshmen. Carlin Jones, Jide Abasari, Ratu Malu, the last commitment we got. Right? When I look at the depth chart, we even gonna need freshmen to ball out. Because we just depending on players who ain't freshmen, we only 3 deep in the middle. See, we kind of decent at edge. Jamil Muhammad is decent, right? Braylon Shelby, he ain't proved it, but I think we kind of know that kid gonna be decent, right? Got Devon Tompkins with plenty potential. It's a lot of potential at our school at the edge position, right? It's a lot of potential, but in the inside, it ain't even a lot of bodies. Like, I'm trying to draw for names. Who we gonna have on the inside? Nate Clifton, Kobe Pepe, Gavin Meyer, Bear Alexander, right? Them the dudes that's expected to cause wreck in the middle. On the outside, you got Elijah Hughes, Braylon Shelby, Jamil Muhammad, Cameron Fountain, true freshman. He might make an appearance, right? So it's like, even when I go through the numbers, especially up the middle, it ain't a lot there. We even need more. It's not like we just short on talent. We short on numbers as well. 4 inside defensive tackles, when 2 of them is question marks. Bear Alexander and Gavin Meyer, they for sure. But we don't know what Kobe Pepe gonna do. We ain't sure. We kind of sure what Nate Clifton gonna do, right? But he good, but he don't dominate. So it's like 2 for sure, 1 for sure starting Bear Alexander, Gavin Meyer 1 for sure starter type dude, Kobe Pepe question mark, Nate Clifton cool. We would want that top 4 to all be very, very good, but it's question marks, right? So we need bodies. We need bodies for Coach Henny to coach up. We ain't even getting the bodies. So this defensive class, who we got on the defensive line? Hayden Lowe and Gus Cordova, right? We need more. We need like 2 or 3 defensive tackles for sure. At minimum, we need like 3, right? So the fact that we ain't even in the mix, for a California defensive lineman, to me, is a crime. It's a crime, right? That Josiah Sharma never hit the campus. It's a crime, right? So I don't care what Lincoln Riley say about the NIL. It gotta be, felon, if we ain't even in the mix. Like, if California players ain't even considering, ain't even going on visits, right? Gotta be the NIL effect. And I'm gonna tell y'all something from some sources I got that got sources, right? And some sources that I know is on the inside, verified, that I trust, right? During the transfer portal season, remember Walter Nolan out of Texas A&M? He was the #1 defensive tackle in the transfer portal. Now, I got word that USC offered him something disrespectful. Like, not even with half what the other schools start off with. Before it even got to he didn't even get to the Coach Henney part. Coach Henney never even got to talk to him, right? The coaching staff never even got to talk to him, right? Because we offered him some disrespectful. To the point, these kids got agents now. So that's where it starts. The transfer portal, they ain't even gonna look at you until it's a decent number that the agent feel, okay, that's a decent number, we could go take a visit. USC was offering disrespectful numbers. So we sat here and complained like, oh, Oklahoma gave Dominic Williams $1.8 million. Oh, shame on them. Walter Nolan got, shame on them. We shaming other schools like, yeah, we wouldn't have paid that much, but maybe we wouldn't even have to pay that much because we is USC, but we offering something so disrespectful they can't even consider us, right? Now I heard Coach Henney say the difference be like 800,000 to 900,000 or 800,000 to $1 million, and that probably do in some of the case. But some of the case, especially in that transfer portal season, I heard USC was offering disrespectful numbers. And they will say, oh, it's because they saving most of it for the high school recruits. Well, high school then came around and we still ain't even got no bag for them. So this just broke my heart. First of all, to see Josiah Sharma commit to Oregon. We hate them. California defensive linemen, we need them, right? They should have to go out of state and go off the West Coast and get talent, not us, right? And then when he flipped and went to Texas, that hurt too, because it was like, damn, we wasn't even your second option. And you probably damn near start as a freshman. Just think about when Bear gone next year and Gavin gone next year and Kobe and Nate. Like, this is what is alarming to me with the defensive line recruiting and why we should be stacked at that position, because whoever come in the middle, they're going to be playing as a freshman probably. In the rotation with Carline Jones, G-Day Abasari, and Ratu. So any defensive tackle, defensive lineman, they come into a USC team next year that gonna have 3 redshirt freshmen or 3 sophomores, right? Right? So playing time gonna be right there open. Just like I said, Nate Clifton gonna graduate, Gavin Meyer gonna graduate, and Bear Alexander go graduate. I mean, he gonna graduate, and who else are going to the draft? This Bear junior year? Yeah, this Bear junior year. Well, he probably gonna go into the draft still. It'll be a miracle if he come back, right? Especially if he have a good year under Coach Henney. Our top 4 defensive tackles is gonna be gone next year, right? And to replace them, it ain't like you gonna have some red shirts juniors and seniors and red shirt sophomores. No, you gonna either have true sophomores or red shirts in G-Day, Carlin, and Ratu, right? So any defensive tackle like this kid, Tyler Parker, all the interior, Elijah Griffin, like y'all could be starting y'all first year at USC. And we ain't even in the top 2 or 3. Like Josiah Sharma would get playing time for USC this year. He like 6'3", 320, right? He'll get playing time right now. And they ain't even consider that. They'll rather go to a stacked Oregon D-line and a stacked Texas D-line. Because Oregon and Texas D-line both more stacked than us. It's more competition there. So they'll rather go to Oregon and sit behind 5 guys at their position to come to USC and basically the starting job and playing time at minimum. Because think about it. In the interior next year, it's just going to be Carlin Jones, G-Day, and Ratu. That's all it's going to be in the interior of the defensive line. The interior of the defensive line at least going to rotate 4 or 5 guys. At least going to rotate 5 guys, right? So it's 2 spots guaranteed to get playtime. If you're a defensive tackle in 2025, you in the 2025 high school class, come to USC because you're going to get the best coaching and you automatically going to play. You're automatically going to play just because of depth concerns, just to rotate and keep players fresh. You're going to play by default. You could have the, what's the dude name? What's that Colorado corner that keep Cormani McClain? You could have his work ethic and be missing practice and you was going to still play at USC at D tackle and on the inside because we ain't got no bodies, right? Next year we ain't going to have no bodies. We really going to need the transfer portal. Are we going to be dependent on true sophomores or freshman redshirt in the middle? Because Bear is going into the draft. I don't think Gavin Meyer got no more eligibility left after this year. Kobe Pepe is a 5-year senior. Nate Clifton is a senior. Like, that's our interior. Well, we'll have to slide Elijah Hughes over there, right? But he's more of a defensive end, right? So anybody that come out of college, especially that's 6'2", 300, you're going to play at USC on the inside. Whether you're great, good, or average, you're going to play. Just the playing time aspect should have USC for California recruits in the top 2, right? I get to stay close to home on the West Coast, and I'm finna be playing my freshman year, and Coach Henny my coach. There's got to be something really wrong in certain areas of recruiting, man, and it just broke my heart. But any high school defensive lineman that's out there and you listening, bro, come to USC, bro. Come to SC. You're going to automatically play while get the best coaching and playing in one of the best conference and in the best cities in the world, man. USC, come on, like we in position, like we should really have a monster D-line class just on preaching playing time and the great coaching development that you're going to get. Just off that. And people say, oh, we got to win and we got to win. Okay. But we got to be in a mix. We got to be recruiting the right kids. We can't just want Florida and Texas kids and Georgia kids, right? We can't just want these Southern kids. Because you're going to look up and see other schools with California players littered all across their roster and balling. Oregon is 70% California players. So every time USC lose to Oregon, you losing to players that you could have had and should have had. Facts, right? So we got to get it together, especially on the defensive line. That's what we needed at most, man. And we ain't even in the top 2. We wasn't even in the top 2 for this kid. So hopefully, man, revenue sharing can't kick in fast enough. I think we need that revenue sharing. Because I heard through sources that USC got the 12 and 15 million a year for recruiting class. Well, why ain't? But it ain't even being spent. It ain't even being spent. That's what really frustrated me talking to the sources is that it's not even a money problem at USC. USC fans, listen, I heard it's not even the money problem, right? It's how we negotiating, we lowballing everybody. So I don't know, man. And I heard the person lowballing everybody was Dave Emmerich. But then I hear Dave Emmerich is doing a good job. I don't know, man. Trojan fans, let me know what y'all think. Am I tripping? Am I whining again? I ain't whining though. This is just my true feelings. I just share with y'all my true feelings. Damn. Josiah Sharma went to Oregon. Fuck. He transferred. He leaving there. He went to Texas. Damn. We wasn't even the second choice. Then I checked USC visitors list over the summer, and he never hit the campus. So yeah, I'm upset. I don't care what y'all gonna say. Bro. I'm upset that we gotta do better. But until then, it's Carter Sports, it's Trojan City, it's SC. So let's go.